Hi, it's Kim from Expressions of the Universe with your 2020 grand finale, new moon, total solar eclipse, and a grand conjunction on the winter or summer solstice, depending on where you live. I posted the agenda. I'm going to talk about those two astronomical events that are coming up. I am going to do a big card reading for all zodiac signs, and then some of you submitted your charts, well, your information. I pulled your charts, and I'm going to analyze that and teach you all a little bit of astrology as to how you can all figure out where this new moon and solar eclipse and the grand conjunction on the solstice is going to affect you. So by giving these examples, hopefully you'll be able to figure it out on your own. I'm going to give you some, little advice. Listen, some of it may be over your head, and that's totally fine. Just absorb whatever you can. It'll be perfect. And if you have questions, you can always write into me and I can help you out. All right. So we have a new moon in Sagittarius and a total solar eclipse here in Philadelphia. Well, I'm outside of Philadelphia, but Eastern Standard Time, East Coast, United States. It will be on Monday, December 14th. And you know what? Let me look at my calendar for the time because I didn't write that down. I keep having this stink bug. It's not an orb. A stink bug is flying around here, and I have to take him outside once I'm finished this. All right, the new moon will come in at 11:17 a.m. in the sign of Sagittarius. This will be at 23 degrees, and it will be followed by a 4-hour and 21-minute total solar eclipse that will be sweeping the entire world. Not everybody will get it. I know I have a post out there, or a blog, showing who will be seeing it, who will not. And what you want to do is find out where 23 degrees of Sagittarius is in your own chart. But I'm going to show you the global chart, and then we're going to move into, I'll show you how to find that in your chart. I want to share my screen and show you what the global chart will look like, and then I'll explain to you how it's going to look in your charts by showing you some of our viewers' examples. Because there's an overall theme that will be taking place on the entire Earth. I know Sagittarius will be in the 10th house up on the midheaven. And the important thing here is that the South Node, the things that we're getting rid of, is in Sagittarius. The North Node, that's where the full moon was 2 weeks ago, that is in Gemini, the opposite sign of the South Node or Sagittarius. And so I'll show you what that all means. I'll even explain what happened on the full moon 2 weeks ago for the chart examples. All right. I'm having a little funk with my eye. Let's find that chart, and going to bring that up here. Open that up, and then I can share with the rest of the world once that opens. Here we go. All right. And where's that share button? Okay. And I will make this bigger for all of you. And yes, Mr. Stink Bug is flying around. I know there's got to be some kind of a totem for that. So what's stinking? What is rotting in your life that you have to take a look at? And that's part of what this theme is. So I'm going to make this bigger for you all. so you could see, and I'm going to pull it down, make it big enough so that you can get a good glimpse. And my eye is really starting to bother me. What the heck? All right. I'm sorry about that. So we have the sun here and the moon, both at 23 degrees. And then you can see right there, there's a solar eclipse. We also have Mercury in here. It's our communicator. It's our mind. We've got the galactic center only 4 degrees away. That's going to play a huge significant role. Merlin, where the magic is, and Selena, where the white light of the moon is shining. And you know what? I mean, not too far out, we have Venus over here. They're all playing a huge role. So you're not going to want to look at, well, I'll explain to you the 10th house, but you're going to want to look and find out where Sagittarius is in your chart, because that whole section will be what is affected. It could be in the 1st house. It could be in the 7th house. I'm going to come down to the opposite end of the table in the 4th house. This is where the full moon was 2 weeks ago. There's the North Node right there. It is on the IC, which is what is below the horizon, the midheaven, the MC, that's above the horizon. This is the place. It's our career usually, but it's also what we're known for in the world when you look at your 10th house. It's the things that you do in the outer world that people know you by. A lot of times that turns out to be a career, but it could also be your hobbies, and you're known by different people in different ways. So that's overall what is going to be changing. And the things that we're letting go. And what you're bringing in is the 4th house. That's more of that home energy. It is the family, it's nurturing. So we're doing less in the outer world, and we're doing more in the inner world, in the privates of our own homes. So everything that is below this horizon line, and that is the horizon that you see out in the natural world. All of these different houses, that's our private life. And so we are really bringing things back into the home, into the family. That's where we're putting our importance. And what we're shedding as a whole, as a global community, is we're shedding the things that we're known for in the outer world, because what is going to become more important is this inner world and our home and family life. And those people in our family and our friends and our communities that we value more than the superficial material ways in the outer world. And also our beliefs that are surrounded by where we should be placing our energy. Is it out there or is it in here? So that's the general gist. On a global level, I'm going to just bring up my notes that I have on my phone. My phone that I happen to, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, I dropped this picking up a package off my porch tonight and shattered my phone. Yeah. And, you know, like, this is my lifeline to all of you. So this is, I'm going to have to explore possibly getting a new phone, or I'm pretty good with living with it this way as long as it doesn't shatter. But there's like a hole in that screen. Oh, this is terrible. Anyway, for the Aries, we'll start with Aries. So I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller so you can see. And if you hold on tight, I'll be doing the card reading for all zodiac signs that will go with this. So Aries, you're right down here. I mean, I should maybe use equal house. So because here we have almost an interception between the 1st and the 7th house. Aries, you'll be trining this solar eclipse, and there'll be support with Mars and Chiron. There'll be clarity on your mission. Taurus, you have an in conjunction, and so you're sifting through the dirt for something valuable. All right, and that's second house. Gemini, so, and you can see that these signs are occupying multiple houses, but Gemini, I really feel like it's communication, it's our thoughts, but it's also the home. But this says, you know, you're opposite, you're in an opposition to this solar eclipse, the new moon, and we will be evolving fast as our language changes, language being our thoughts and communication. Cancer, you have an in conjunction, and you'll be going through a lot of nostalgia and addressing things objectively, like sifting through all the sentimental. And I think that's part of, you know, Cancer is still in the fourth house, on the cusp of the fifth. But you'll be revisiting a lot of nostalgia during this time. Leo, you're making a trine. You're accepting the changing of the guard, so to speak. You will be opposing Aquarius, and that's where the planets are moving into. Virgo, you're also squaring. You're getting reacquainted with chaos during this time, unfortunately. This could be a little bit of a disruptive new moon. Libra, with the sextile to the solar eclipse, you'll be understanding your path in this world a little bit better. So that's, you know, a harmonious. You'll be awakening to a clear path. Scorpio, you're semi-sextiling, which is beautiful harmony as well. It's time for clearer waters. It's time for you to come out of the mud. So you'll be able to breathe a little bit more clarity. Sagittarius, this is hitting Sagittarius, sun signs, rising signs, moons harder than anybody. And so there's a conjunction there. There'll be a new target. You're aiming in your true desire. You'll be able to pull back the strings of that bow, shoot that arrow, and aim it exactly where it belongs. You're coming up onto a new path, Sagittarians. Okay, Capricorns. Now, you know, Capricorns, they've been through a really rough time for the past couple of years. We've got a semi-sextile also right in here. And you're finding meaning in the ruins of the crumbling of the tower. And I know that sounds ominous. However, that's, you know, this rough patch that a lot of Capricorns have been going through, the changes, wherever Capricorn shows up in anyone's chart, that's probably where a lot of changes have been occurring. And so now you're sifting through the ruins, and you're able to take with you what is of value and discard the rest. Aquarius, big time coming up for Aquariuses. There's a sextile. This is extra fuel for your great flight, which will be taking place on the solstice on December 21st, when Saturn and Jupiter conjunct at 0 degrees in Aquarius. And I want to point out, and then Pisces, I'm sorry, Pisces, you're squaring. So there's a little bit of a challenge there. There's tension. See that red line? That's the square. And you're abolishing your delusions, though. So these challenges, these squares, they're not a terrible thing. I'm going to stop the sharing here and come back to you. They're not a terrible thing when there's a square. Because it forces us to do what we need to do. I was going to say something and I can't. Oh, I wanted to give credit to Adam Summer, who is an astrologer, amazing, far out there. And that was his interpretation, what I was reciting off. I had gone to the big Astrology Hub Summit. I am a member of Astrology Hub, and it's just so amazing being a part of that community because I learned so much. I've been practicing for so long, and yet I still can always find something new to learn. So what I was picking up with this new moon solar eclipse in Sagittarius, 23 degrees, that's coming on Monday, December 14th. I really feel like the light is going to be shown in the areas that are no longer serving us. And I really feel that we've been feeling this for quite some time, maybe all of 2020. Things that are no longer resonating with us, we're feeling it. Whether it is material things, whether it's career situational, money, the relationship to money, the relationship to family and friends, the relationship to ourselves, who we are, all of that is changing. We're looking at that. This solar eclipse is shining the light down with a magnifying glass and forcing us to take a look at the things that are causing dis-ease in our body, that are causing some sort of a resistance of us wanting to be there, not wanting to be there. We really have to get into a place where we're following our heart. It's just so important. And I did this big channeling, and I've been taking notes of over the little things that have been coming in, and then also taking notes from different seminars that I've been attending. Look at this. You know me and my hair. I do have a Leo moon. My curl flopped and it's just sticking out. This time that we're coming into, it's about knowing who we are, our personal soul path, and but reverence for all and togetherness. So I've been talking about unity over and over again. It's really difficult because there's so much polarization and separation and division. And even I had a discussion today about, okay, I know we all need to come together, but there are just some people that I see their posts and it enrages me on a moral level. And so I've decided I can't look at those anymore. And I've had to just, hide those posts because I just can't do it because it's affecting me on the inside. It's causing disease within me, yet these are people that I really care about. But I don't know. We are separating in a sense because a lot of us, we're all on different levels. And it's interesting because I feel like this year, for me personally, I've been continuing to grow, and yet there's so many people that are still steeped in that fear, and they're holding on to every last bit of what used to be. That's what I can't deal with because I'm moving on. And I heard something really great today because I listen to podcasts while I'm driving. And I've been thinking this, and then I heard Gemini Brett Joseph, he's a great astrologer as well. He said the shamanic warrior isn't here to shake and wake people up. He's only here to light a fire and keep things warm and keep telling their story for when other people wake up. So, and I was saying that it's not my job to make you see the mysticism and the beauty and everything that's going on. There are people that are going to be staying in the fear, but it's not my job to shake you awake. I'm going to do my thing. And then you wake up, I'll be here waiting for you, holding space for when you want to come back in. So I love that. Okay, so we are growing our consciousness. We're making a total jump into a new life. This is the grand conjunction on December 21st when Saturn and Jupiter are coming together. And I took a look in the sky and they are, remember a couple weeks ago, I thought they'd be lined up like this. They're more like this. And so I think they're going to be on top of each other like that and not in a full star. We'll have to see. December 16th is going to be one of their closest points. So, because I believe Saturn is moving to 0 degrees of Aquarius on December 16th. It'll be the third time this year he's made that positioning. The first time being at the beginning of COVID, the second time being when everything got locked down, and then the third time now, and a lot of us are in lockdown again. But we'll have to see how it's going to show up in the sky. I really think they're just going to be on top of each other, and that's where the alignment is going to be, only because of their positioning in the solar system, in addition to their size difference. Jupiter is so much bigger, brighter, and closer to Earth than Saturn. And Saturn was looking so bright all summer long. And tonight, the closer he gets to Jupiter, I don't know if it's because Jupiter's light is dimming Saturn because they're becoming so close, but Saturn looked very diminutive and dim this evening. And I took some pictures with my phone. I don't know how well they came out, but if they're halfway decent, I'll post them on Facebook and Instagram. So this is definitely a new beginning. We are going to be required to think outside of the box. Businesses will not thrive if they're trying to do their same model. You're going to have to innovate something new. That's that Aquarian energy. This is a rebirth on a personal and global level. There's new energy coming in. There's a lot of potential, but there's also a lot of vulnerability when there's something new and unknown. But we're cultivating resilience. 2020 was a beta test. It's not going to really get much better in 2021. I'll let you know that right now. We have such food insecurity, so much fear on this planet. So it's like we were being tested. And I met some really great people today. Out of the blue, nothing is a coincidence, but I met this really nice young gentleman and we had such great conversation about those that are stuck in the fear, stuck in the materialism, stuck in the greed, wanting their old lives back, and those who have kind of rolled with the punches and they're like, okay, what's next? You're just staying fluid and flowing with everything. And that's what we're going to be required to do. If you have been surrendering to what is, going with the flow, adjusting your sails as the winds have changed, you're going to be fine through 2021. If you're holding on, rigid, stubborn, not wanting to let go of that old life, those old ways, then 2021 could be difficult for you. And then I'm hearing, and we were talking about also, turn off the news. Start tapping into your own heart. Stop tapping into your own wisdom. I will put on the news for the first 3 to 5 minutes just to make sure the world is still here, and watch the weather real quick because I like to see what the weather's going to be. What should I wear? Can I see the stars at night? Is the sun going to shine? I plan my day on the weather, and then I shut that off. I don't steep myself in that because the media is an entertainment business. They are here to entertain us, or and also to sell advertising for their channel. And the crazier the news and the crazier the narrative, which includes COVID, but I'm not going to go all into that. Just know that they're filling space with stories, and the worse they make you feel, in a sense, the more you're going to watch, and then they sell advertisement that way. It was interesting because my friend Rob and I went to dinner last night because they locked down in Pennsylvania. There's no indoor dining anymore. There's a lot of restrictions. So we went out for one final meal. And he said when he has to travel for work, he would always look at the travel advisories, you know, on the US website. And he would be like, oh my God, I don't even want to go. But then he would check other countries like the UK and Canada and see, well, what is their travel advisory saying for that other country? And it would be a completely different narrative. You have to really be very discerning, and that's part of this whole thing. We are Georgia Stathis said that we're funneling out all of the toxins, all of the negativity, and all that will remain at the end of this year is our pure essence. We're distilling. And what we're carrying into 2021 is the essence of who we are. This is not going to be forever, and there is a life moving forward. We're only carrying our essence, but we are getting rid of a lot. We have to adapt and be flexible. Think outside the box. This total solar eclipse is really on the galactic center, and it's on the world point. Things are happening fast. Things are happening very quickly. There are activation dates that are coming up. We're going to see the culmination of these events probably the beginning of March, and then again in June when we're going to be hitting another eclipse. Neptune's playing a big role. Pay attention to your dreams. Neptune will be squaring the eclipse point and the nodes. I forget who mentioned this, where I got this information, but that often means dismemberment, but it's like the breaking down of something so that it can be rebuilt. With all the energy being in Capricorn for so long, you know, we're breaking down those foundations: religion, finance, banking, governments, control, the patriarchy. And if you tuned in to last week's, I pulled The Wild Woman and the Child, which I featured on Facebook and Instagram for the Friday and weekend card. And I feel that they are the archetypes for 2021 and going forward. You have the wild woman, the matriarch, that's coming in to care and nurture this village meaning, you know, the world. And we're looking at things through the eyes of a child, with a childlike wonderment, full of joy, full of happiness, full of innocence. So take that. If you haven't seen that, go to Expressions of the Universe on Facebook or Instagram and read what that message is, because I really feel that that's going to be the theme for 2021 in the next 200 years. All right. There will be great revelations. The light is coming in. What you feel, your mind, what you see and think in your mind and the words you're using, and we all know this is what you're going to get in this time coming up. So you're living in the fear, you're just going to get more things that are going to feed your fear. I'm also being very discerning about social media. I love expressions platforms. I'm not liking social media for myself personally because it's hindering my internal well-being, my mental well-being. And I'm just I'm really becoming over with it. I'm finding that I want to take my time and spend it outside, or spend it doing my artwork or writing or reading, like really spending my time in a quality way. And it is not scrolling on social media. Although, I do find some joy like in the art and things that I see on Instagram. It's such a waste of time. It's a time sucker. So try to do things that have true value and true meaning by getting out and maybe spending time with your own family, or your friends, even if it's via Zoom, instead of just scrolling through posts. That's so like last century, really. It's becoming over. So square to the nodes, disillusionment, and also the big theme right now, what's coming up with this new moon and the grand conjunction. Where are we putting our value? And I just said that. Like, where are you putting your value? Like, you're spending all this time on a screen, and I do appreciate it. I do. But what kind of value are you getting out? Be very discerning. And listen, we should be exploring different avenues and different people and getting different information online. And like, if this resonates with you, that's fantastic. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. That is the stink bug, not an orb, but maybe you've seen orbs. There was one in last week's video. If you see orbs, please let me know. We are mirroring ourselves. So, all of that disparity that we see, it's actually within ourselves. We really need to go within and figure out, where is that coming from? Surrender and ask, what is this? Like, so something's making you uncomfortable, a person's making you uncomfortable. Stop and ask, what is this? Be open to not knowing where it's coming from. And like, I hope I wrote this down, because somebody had said yesterday or the day before in the seminar that I went to, there's going to be a great divide between what you think you know and what the truth is. And, some people can be so adamant saying, I know this, like my belief is true, or what I'm thinking is true. We're really going to have to stop ourselves and like truly get facts, because our beliefs, they're true to us, but they may not be the truth. So that's going to play another big role. Breaking out of our old ways, our old beliefs. There's going to be new ways of knowing things, new ways that we're going to be getting our news, new ways of communication. Mercury will be playing a huge role. So I showed you how Mercury was right next to the moon and the sun in the eclipse. New ways of media and communication, new ways of perceiving things, being in the now, being in the present, not thinking too far in advance and not thinking too far back. How will we be using our words in 2021? Aquarius is of a higher mind. Gemini is the quick communicator, typing away, but Aquarius really makes us stop and think, like how we will be using our words. 2021 will also be the year of how we use our mind. Oh, I know what I see and think, but what is really true? And I think that was Ari Moshi that said that. I know what I see and think, but what is really true? So, we all see things differently and we all perceive things differently, but it may not necessarily be the truth. There's going to be a big jump for astrology and the South Node eclipsing Neptune is releasing what we no longer wish to carry. The grand conjunction, there's an elemental reset. So we've been in Earth element for 200 years, with the exception of one little blip in 1980, when it popped into Libra for a second. But now we're coming into a 200-year social era. And for personal, it's a 20-year reset for us. So it's the grand conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter. They actually come together every 20 years. And so you want to look back on the last 20 years, before that, and take a look and see what that felt like, what happened in your life during that time. But socially, it's a 200-year transit that will be in air. So what was happening 20 years ago, or 40 or 60, or, however long you can go back and take a look at those pivotal moments in your life and what happened after, and what came after. So it kind of gives you a good idea, a good flavor of what's going to happen now. There's a higher intellectual knowledge. There's going to be squares to Uranus all next year. It'll be like a dam flooding up with knowledge and energy. Aquarius is the awakener. This is a milestone in history. And I don't remember who said this, but I love this. This is the new BC. So, like 800 BC, and then there's, 400 AD. This is the new BC. So this is 2020 or whatever happened before 2020 was before COVID. And now we're in the new BC, which is, kind of like after COVID. And it's going to be a mile marker in history, because our world is going to be so different. I made a $5 bet with my friend Rob, saying, I really feel that, with everybody working from home, people unable to pay their rent and their mortgages, that there's going to be a lot of empty buildings. And I said this like 6 months ago, I think, but even with the high-rise office buildings and the food scarcity that we have right now on the planet, I wouldn't be surprised if those office buildings were repurposed as vertical farms, indoor farms, parking lots turned into solar, panel areas, windmill farms, like repurposing all this different land, because, we only have so much land here, and it's pretty much all built up full of real estate because of all the greedy, that earth that we've been in for the last 200 years, ruining our earth. Now we're going to have to repurpose it, but it'll be a cleaner, greener. So we'll see about that. The key here is Leo, which is the opposite of Aquarius. So that's the heart. We have to keep it warm, keep our hearts warm, because it will be so easy to stay separated. We're coming into a unity consciousness, a togetherness consciousness, a community consciousness. The old business models will be bye-bye. Uranus is about the internet, new business models, new ways of doing business. Businesses must reinvent themselves. Airline industry, you're going to be struggling for quite some time, and you're going to have to somehow reinvent yourselves. January 20th, 12 noon, all planets will be above the horizon. So this, for the United States, is the presidential inauguration ceremony. And this is a little interesting. So all the planets will be above the horizon. Nothing will be hidden. Love that. But the moon will be void, of course. There will be no aspects made to the moon. And this is what's concerning, because whatever happens on a voided course moon doesn't stick. So that will be very interesting. The moon will be at 29 degrees Aries at the proposed time of inauguration. So we should really be paying attention to how that's going to play out. And I'm going to have to pull up that chart and take a good look at that. And I wrote down, do a chart at the time that the veils are actually taken. So we won't even know until, like, we'll have to be watching it, and then I'll have to see exactly what time were his vows taken. So they may start the ceremony. Hopefully, Joe Biden will be taking his vows once the moon moves into Taurus, because that would be slow and deliberate, and it would stick. Economic cycles are changing. And, you know, I was talking about this because in my day job, I am in real estate finance, and all the moratoriums on evictions and foreclosures is expiring on December 31st. And also for the student loan debt. So that's going to have to be extended. I don't know where that stink bug is, but he's getting on my nerves. And this is going to make for a funny video. Let's see. I just don't want to leave out anything that I wrote, but I don't want to repeat myself. So Uranus will be playing a big part in 2021. And where Saturn is very restrictive, Uranus has no constraints at all. So there'll be surprises. There will be a pressure in all of us to wake up and look at how we're living. That's huge. I think 2020 showed us that, but so many of you were just so focused on trying to keep your old life. But we're really going to be forced at how we're living, how we're spending our money, because there's going to have to be some new innovations. There's a huge invitation for us to all sit back and observe everything. We don't even have to act on it, you know, but there are so many activists, people that have to get out there and get their voice out there and be heard. But this is really a time for just observing, recognizing the differences in people. There is, so with the Saturn Uranus, there's going to be a Saturn Uranus square, and it's been described as a huge tidal wave, a culmination of the last 20 years that is just going to come over and crash on us in 2021. Expect more protests. We saw how crazy things were with riots and everything that happened when Saturn dipped into Aquarius for a moment to 1 degree. And that's when all the protests and uprisings, you know, Aquarius is a revolutionary. Expect that again, but it's leading us in a more productive place. Key dates: February 17th, June 14th, December 24th for these uprisings. We're learning new things through 2032. And what we should be doing right now is taking a look at what have you always wanted to learn, okay? Like, where's the passion in your heart? Now's the time to take and stop and learn these things that you have always wanted to know about. Taking time for ourselves. We're going to have to put a big focus on agriculture and the land, sustainability will be huge. People will be hungry next year. I'm going to tell you, big recession is coming, higher taxes are coming. And, you know, so many of you are looking for the government to help you out. It's really not happening. So you've got to get up and get out there and, you know, if you can, start growing a little garden on your windowsill. Something, because it will be necessary. Listen to your heart. The key to your personal doorway is right here, right here. Work on your fear, work on your voice of judgment, especially with yourself. If you're judging yourself, got to work on that. Saturn is pure fear, and that has to go. And watch your fear levels. Black Lilith is right next to Uranus. There's going to be fears there. That's the Taurus energy. Earth, the building, construction, nature. Nature's playing a big part. Get out into nature. Family dynamics are changing. Soul families are coming together. Communities are coming together. So, like, if you've been searching for your people for your whole life, you're going to find them soon. They're coming together. I think we needed to see the polarization, the disparity in the other people in our worlds, and we're aligning with who we truly are, following our hearts. When you start to do that, your soul family is going to start to come in and meet up with you. Frequency, our own personal frequency will be huge. What are you radiating? To take responsibility of what you radiate on an individual level, not pointing the finger, blaming anybody else. It's all within here. Our thoughts, our judgments will put out that frequency and that vibration, and that's who's going to show up. So let's clean up our vibration and our frequency, and then the right people will start to show up. Kind of like today for me, I met some amazing people, which no coincidence. Okay, let's see. There's going to be a big pull towards indigenous, getting back to roots, ancestors, that's for sure. Indigenous peoples all over the world are going to play a big role. They will be honored in a way like none before, because so many people want to get back to that beginning. So they'll be seeking out indigenous peoples for their help, cultivating resilience, sharing and giving back is going to be very important. Sharing, growing a garden, and if you've got surplus, start sharing it with your neighbors. Start giving that away. People will be needing food. It's going to be important. Enhancing our wisdom, our spiritual practices, creating a daily spiritual practice, even if it's like for 30 seconds, which will help us to increase our resilience and deal with the changes that are coming. And also, let the body catch up to everything that happened in 2021. So you may just want to take the next couple of weeks off and allow yourselves to rest, allow yourselves to sleep. It's so, so important. All right. I mean, there are other things that I'm going to talk about probably in another, because this is getting long and I want to get into the card reading. I don't even know how long into this video we are, but let's do the card reading for all of the signs. And I've already shuffled the cards. Let's put this down. Tea here. After I do the card reading, I will do the chart example. Okay, so for Aries, I'm going to do my typical 4 cards. I may want to come back a little bit so that you can see more of this. All right, so I can go up that far. I want to make sure this is in. Aries, Saturn, and truth is the highlight of your story. Your underlying situation is the part of fortune. There will be increase. What are you getting rid of? Black Moon Lilith, which is your fears. You're getting rid of your fears, Aries, suns, risings, and moons, so that you can move on. The sun is coming to shine on you, and that is so, so true. This new moon eclipse will be in your first house. So it will be all about yourself. 7th house of relationships. So some of you will be coming into new relationships. Some of you will be leaving relationships, but you're going to be taking a look at all relationship, everything that's in relationship to you, which is even your relationship to yourself. Okay, so Virgo, part of fortune is you have to put in the work. You have to pay attention to your daily routine and the details that are happening in your life. What are you leaving behind? 5th house, but you know what? 5th house is joy and happiness and children. So some of you could be, but this is putting more of a serious focus on your life. And then what is coming in? 3rd house, better communications. This is also technology, moving to a new neighborhood. This is also a highlight of siblings. And excuse me. This is also taking short trips. This is also your modes of transportation. I think a lot of you are due for a vacation. All right, so Taurus, and I'm just going to put the cards right on top of these cards just to keep it easier for me. Taurus, up in the forefront, we have Virgo, I analyze. So this is, you're going to be taking a really good look at everything in your life, Taurus, sun signs, rising signs, and moons. And why? Because there's big endings coming. There's changes that are being made, changes that need to be made so that you can have new beginnings. Okay, so what are you getting rid of? The moon, the soul. Unneeded, unwanted emotions. And you're getting down to the soul of yourself, the things that are hidden within your soul and having to bring them out to the forefront. And what are you bringing in? You're bringing in Venus, who is love. And I love that. And I hope you can see these cards. I'm not holding them up, but I'm hoping that you can see them in this video. So, right, if you get rid of and deal with your shadow side, then you can bring in that love. Okay, Taurus. So this is about expansion. This is Sagittarius. So for the Taurus suns, risings, and moons, really take a look at that south node, Sagittarius, where it shows up in your chart, because those are the things that you're going to have to really clear out of the way, old beliefs. And the underlying thing, it's Leo, which is pride. But this is also your voice and your energy. It's interesting because it says this is about self-beliefs. So I'm thinking any kind of self-limiting beliefs, Tauruses, you're going to have to be getting rid of. Mars, this is the ego. This is anger. This is aggression. That has to go so that you can have the sun shining in on you. And I love that. Geminis. All right, so this is Grand Trine Blessings. Now, you just had the full moon 2 weeks ago in Gemini. The North Node is in Gemini, so that completely resonates. If you are a Gemini sun, rising moon, you have a lot of planets in Gemini. Blessings are being showered down on you like you have no idea. And this is an extremely long transit that will be carrying for some time. Okay, so we're looking at the second house value, the things we value, but the things that we own. So somehow there's going to be some major blessings. This could be purchasing a new property, even buying a new car, buying new technology. A lot of new things are coming in. This is an acquisition time of abundance. What has to go? Aries, I am. So Aries, this is also that Mars fire ego, fire energy ego. So ego has to go out. I am also talks about having to always be right and righteous. So that has to go. Instead of, and also too, now I'm hearing that I am, we're coming into we are. It's more of a unified energy. So you're getting out of that individualism and bringing in Mars, and it says Mars force, but you're bringing in new energy, and that's what I feel. You're getting rid of the old stagnant self-focused energy and bringing in more unified energy. All right, Geminis, with that blessing, Pisces, your dreams will be coming true. Your dreams will be realized. You will have to work very hard for it, but I feel as though you're climbing the mountain. Accomplishments, achievements will be made. What are you getting rid of? You're getting rid of the restrictions of Saturn. All the people that tell you no, know that you can't. The people that hold you back, they're going, so that you can bring in more love for yourself. This is a complete revamping of the self for Geminis, and it really rings true with the astrology. For Cancers, okay, so we have Chiron and healing that has to be done. The underlying situation, solar eclipse, revolution. Now for Cancers, there's going to be a full moon on New Year's Eve that will be hitting you and opening up the door. No eclipse, however, there has to be an inner revolution and also clearing out all of that emotion. What else has to go? This says Libra, I balance. Anything that's out of balance has got to go so that you can bring in having more. Taurus, this is stability. These are the things that you have. Being out of balance also prevents you from manifesting the things that you want in life. Yes. All right. So ninth house will be a huge expansion spiritually for the Cancer suns, risings, and moons. This could be foreign travel, foreign language, expanding your language, learning a new language, learning something new. This is also higher education, higher knowledge. Taurus comes up again. So this is about creating stability for yourselves, creating something tangible. What are you getting rid of? You're also getting rid of Saturn, the restrictions, the people that restrict you, the rules that restrict you, any karma that restricted you, it's gone. You're done. Cancers really have been through the mud over the last couple of years. You're done with that cycle. And now you're bringing in, this is crazy, Taurus. And you know, and if you've been watching me for a while, I have double decks here. So Taurus is the key. That is the things that we value, the things that we own. It's also stability. It is getting out into nature and loving nature, honoring nature, becoming one with nature. And also remember that we have Uranus in Taurus, you know, for like the next 6 years. So there's going to be big, huge changes for the Cancer sun signs, rising signs, and moons. And I feel that that energy will be coming as soon as Saturn and Jupiter move into Aquarius, because then they'll stop opposing you. Okay, Leo. Saturn, return. So for the Leos, your focus is on Saturn. And so you will have to play by the rules. You're going to have to restrain yourselves a little bit. But you're also taking a look at the lessons that you have learned up until now, and you will be applying them to your creativity, which is the 5th house. You're going to apply it to, and it's also for Leos, you rule the 5th house. So this to me would be the self. Where have you been playing around so much, not restraining yourselves, just willy-nilly? You're reining things in when it comes to children, your creativity. Just if you've been partying too much, that's got to stop. You're going to have to redo your whole entire 5th house, Leos. And so that means that there's got to be a redo or revamp of yourselves in a sense, if you want to move forward into 2021. You got to really take a look at everything. Excuse me. And just look back through all of your life's lessons. That's what I keep hearing. All right, what is on their way out? We have Sagittarius, I see. Sagittarius is also going with this energy here, but also pay attention to this eclipse. There's a lot of things that you've got to get rid of in your belief system, Leos, suns, risings, and moons. That would be including me on the Leo moon. But this is also kind of time to stop playing around. That's what I'm seeing with these cards, so that you can bring in, and this is Uranus, genius, new innovation, new beginnings, new ways. And if you want to be a shaker and a mover, you're going to have to really make some big changes in your life. And I need to get some tea. Okay. Libra is coming in. Justice, balance, relationships. You're also taking a look at the relationship to yourself. Here we have Uranus again in a different card. This is your potential for sudden changes and of enlightenment and awakening for you. That's coming. If you clean up your act, what are you getting rid of? Leo. This would be, you're not getting rid of yourselves, but you're getting rid of your old Leo ways, the drama, the having to be in the spotlight all the time, having to have that attention. You're moving away from that because it doesn't really matter. But the old Leo that you were, that's going out the window so that you can become the new Leo. And it's more of a Neptunian energy. I love that. It's a watery energy versus a fire energy. It's a softer energy. This is also asking you to dream big. Start dreaming and living your life instead of sitting back in the wings, watching everybody else go by. The wishing, the hoping, it's not getting you anywhere. It's time for you to get up and start to move and groove. Virgo. All right, so your earth element stability, that is your main goal here. Neptune, sacrifice. So what are you willing to sacrifice in your life currently for you to have the stability going forward? What are you getting rid of? The Yod of Destiny. If you've been dealt a bad hand, your karma should be finished, hopefully, by now. If you were dealt a bad hand, it should be on its way out so that, all right, we have the void, of course, moon coming. The emotions are missing. Tapping into your emotions is going to be very important. Void, of course, moon is there are no aspects to be made. It's a void. There's a blank spot there. So let's explore that a little bit. All right, Gemini, better communication is needed. That's for sure. Okay, the 12th house. What is hidden, Virgo? Hidden in your communications, hidden from your communications. This is where I'm picking up this void. And so somewhere along the line, you're withholding information from somebody, some people. Anger issues, ego issues have got to go. And what are we bringing in? Let's get something better than this void of course moon. Ah, Chiron, healing of the wounds, the wound itself. Yeah, I think Virgos are still a little bit on that mission of having to heal quite a bit. There are some aspects that still need to be healed, but I think they can be with communication and not withholding information. Now, the 12th house also talks about hidden enemies, institutions, the psychic realm, so pay attention to your dreams. There could be quite a bit of healing in that, but that's what this time is bringing up for you. With Virgo, let me see real quick. Virgo, yeah, and I even said that this new moon and solar eclipse was going to be squaring these aspects, and it's reacquainting you with chaos. So there's a lot of things in your life that could still be cleaned up. This won't be the most pleasant time for the Virgo suns, risings, and moons, unfortunately. Okay, Libra. All right, 12th house, almost the same exact thing, but this is talking about escapism, not facing the things that you need to face because you just want to avoid it. You don't want to look at it. You don't look at it, it's not there. You'll get to it when you want to, and you have to stop procrastinating. And this would be the 10th house, the world, your finances, the money. This is business. And there's things in Libra's business, things in your career house that you are not wanting to look at or not wanting to face. And you're trying to push it off and save it for another time. What's got to go? Jupiter returns benefits. Damn. What has got to go? I can't make that correlation so that you can bring in the 4th house, the roots. I feel as though there's a little bit of regret. Some things may have looked better than they actually turned out to be, and I feel that there are some regrets. But this card is coming back to the home, back to the roots. A lot of Libras could be changing house. You're also looking towards ancestors. There's sentimentality, nostalgia there as well. Let's expand on that. All right, big changes are coming, transformations, endings for new beginnings. And it's in the 3rd house. This could be siblings for some of you. So, you know, make sure you open up to communication with your siblings. This is also the way that you communicate is going to be changing, whether that's, hey, you might be getting a new cell phone or a new computer. It could be as easy as something like that, or a new car, because 3rd house is about our transportation. What is leaving? 2nd house. So this is money. Some things that you thought you valued have got to go. Some of you could be losing a house, could be losing money. I know this doesn't sound so great, but there was something with a business deal that I was seeing. Also, too, if you're moving house, you could be losing money on a home that you're selling or paying too much for the new home that you're moving into. Here we have the 10th house, the career, what you're known for in the world. That is changing. That's what's coming in. And it could have even happened this year, and it's still part of your story. Scorpio. Scorpios, Grand Cross, the provoker. So this is interesting. This could be a challenging time for the Scorpios, but you are coming out of the mud and you are going to, actually, this could even be the provoking of yourself to get yourself out of the mud and breathe some fresh air. Pluto and transformation, that is your ruler. There are big changes coming for you. I think you'll probably feel it. Some of you are going to feel it already. Some of you will feel it around the solstice, and some of you will start to feel it around the full moon in Cancer on December 30th, 31st. What are you getting rid of? You're getting rid of, this says air element communication, but this would be poor communication, keeping to yourself. So you're coming out, finally. You're coming back into society, Scorpios. You're bringing in the 11th house. This is new friends and social circles are coming back in with your friends, because I feel a lot of Scorpios that have been out and isolated by themselves for far too long. Here, Pluto, major transformations. This was a huge year for the Scorpios. I really think it was like a 1.5-year transit, and I kept feeling like it's time for you to come out, but I think it's almost here. Still some wounds that have to be healed and transformed and changed. So you're still working on that, Scorpio. This is leaving behind all of those emotions, those wounds that you have, so that you can open up to new dreams. I love it. And it's the water and the water. So that's pretty beautiful. Sagittarians, this is huge for you. All right, 6th house of routines. This is also your work. This is your health. You're going to really have to pay big, big attention to your health during this time. I know that that's really key, especially, you know, with this solar eclipse. But this is a big shakeup for your daily routines. What are you doing every day? Where are you spending your time every single day? Is it in front of a screen, or is it out in nature? Is it with your family? You know, you're really going to be taking a look at all of that. The South Node, life's debts. And the South Node is in Sagittarius. This is karma come calling. This is having to let go of what no longer serves you anymore. The Leo, I will. So any kind of, egotistical pride, that has to go out the window. You have to come more into a space of not knowing in order to open up to reinvention. Mercury retrograde. So you're going to go back and reinvent yourself. And that completely resonates here. All right, Scorpio. This is intense energy at becoming masterful and thoughtful. Be careful about being possessive and jealous over things. Pisces, more water energy. So this is really tapping into your emotions, into your dreams, but don't allow this to become illusionment, disillusionment, and also avoidance. All right, so what are you letting go of? Having to climb that corporate ladder. You just don't have to do it. It is not important anymore. That is an old belief system. Get off that corporate ladder and start following your heart, Sagittarians, and start to innovate. Come into a new way of thinking, a new way of being. I love that. All right, Capricorns. Capricorns, finally, you're moving out of this energy that has been holding you back. Fire element desire. It's time for you to go for it. Lunar eclipse. Changes are coming. What are you getting rid of? Scorpio, I transform. So this what is leaving you right now are all these changes that have been occurring for the last couple of years. They're moving out. We know that. I see it in the astrology. In order to make room for Cancer, I feel. So this is a more nurturing and loving. And we know that that's what's been going on for the last couple of years. Opening yourselves up to allow yourselves to feel the emotion. Love is on the way. Capricorn, suns, risings, and moons. This is a new love coming into your life. This could be a baby. This could be loving yourself. This could be a new partner. Falling in love with something brand new. Innovation, Aquarius energy. I love it. This is also the freedom to enjoy this. Allowing yourself the freedom. Okay, so Aries, this is what's on the way out, and that is the stubborn ego that you've been holding on to for quite some time. You know, allow yourselves to be vulnerable. Put your guard down so that you can expand with Jupiter. This is also courage, that to allow yourself to believe in luck, that luck can happen. You've been through a rough time, Capricorns. Now is your time to shine. All right, Aquarius, we're almost finished here. Aquarius, 7th house of partners. So this would be about your relationships to yourself. And I just read somebody's chart today, and that's where this eclipse is hitting. So I don't know if you're going to see this video. That would be interesting. But it is all about your relationship to everything in your life, including yourself. All right, the underlying situation, Capricorn, I use. So you want to take a look at the relationships between yourself and everything in your life and see what is useful in your life and what is no longer, what is just dead weight, heavy baggage that's got to go out and be put out in the trash. Your beliefs are changing with this Pisces, I believe. There's a lot of things that you in your thought process, Aquarius's motto is I know, but you don't know everything. So throw out your belief system and open up to expanding your mind so that you can bring in, I think, a new way of thinking. I love that. It's the Gemini energy. All right, 6th house, pay attention to your health, your daily routines, get some exercise. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. Make sure you're eating well. This is also pets and the work that we're doing on a daily basis. Where are you putting your value in your routines? Like, where are you spending all of your time? 2nd house, the things that we value, the things that we find value in. Change your daily routines and the things that you're doing in your life, Aquarius, to things that truly have meaning and value. You're getting rid of the old outworn ways that you see yourself and your self-image, and you're bringing it back home. You're loving yourself again. This is the goddess within. This is your sacred spiritual center, and it's the quiet dignity that you hold in your heart. And last but not least, Pisces. All right, Pisces, we have Jupiter. So this is abundance that's coming your way. The water element, sensing, really tapping in, using that Neptunian energy that is going to be so prominent. And it has been, for the past few weeks, and it's just building and building. Get into your element, Pisces. Really tap into your emotions, and you're going to be clearing out any outworn emotions or toxic emotions. Aquarius, I know. You don't know everything, Pisces. You may think you do because, you're coming from this high plane, past life of knowledge. You're also throwing out all of everything that you know and opening up to new beliefs. And this is what is coming. Get rid of everything you think you know about yourself and the world, and you're coming into the first house, your body. Start to focus on yourself and your body, getting yourself healthy, clean, making sure this is also reminds me of like the sixth house card that came up for Aquarius. Really taking care of yourself and nurturing yourself, Pisces, suns, risings, and moons. All right, expansion, further education, getting out and about, expanding your mind, tapping into your spirituality. That's what I really feel like with that water element. Also, big focus on your relationships, relationship to yourself, balancing out. Are you giving too much away, which is a tendency for Pisces? Bring in the balance. Also, take a look at your relationship to yourself and everyone around you. Getting rid of eighth house, things that no longer serve, things that need to be put to bed and buried, be done with, so that you can expand your 10th house, expand on what the world knows you for. This is your achievements and your status in the world. And you're not, a lot of you are not getting ahead because you're stuck in these old ways. So this is going to be changing for you, Pisces. You're going to be known for something brand new, probably within the next year or two. And it's not always career related. It's, you know, your name comes up. Oh, she's the ba 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 ba, or he's the You'll be known for something different than what you're currently known for. Okay, so that's the card reading. Now, I'm going to take a little break and I'm coming back and I will do the chart analyzation for the viewers that volunteered, and we're going to review how these charts show up for the new moon and solar eclipse and the grand conjunction. And it's also going to help all of you learn how to locate it in your own charts and figure out what it would mean. So we will be right back. If I can figure out how to turn this on. I am back. Part 2, the chart analyzation. So several lucky viewers got selected for me to analyze their charts and bump it up against this new moon total solar eclipse and the grand conjunction on the solstice. This will also help all of you learn how to interpret it and find it into your own charts. Hopefully I'll explain it well enough. If this is over your head and you don't know astrology, that's okay. It's really easy. How you can pull your own chart would be go to astro.com, plug in your date, time, and place of birth, and you can just hit the button that says create chart, and there you'll have it. It will default to a Placidus house system, and that is the house system that I use for most of my readings, depending. I do use several different house systems depending on what type of a reading I'm doing, but that's good. If you have any problems, message me and I can help you with that so that you can figure out where this is going to affect. Now, remember, this new moon, it's new beginnings. We're letting go of a lot of things right now leading up to the new moon. It's all about release. Where is this going to show up in your chart? What's really important, because it is a total solar eclipse, which means it's on one of the nodes of the moon, whether it be north node, south node. This particular one is on the south node. So we're releasing old beliefs. We're releasing things that no longer serve us. We are releasing old thinking. So we're kind of wiping our slates clean and starting brand new. And I'm going to bring up the chart for the first person, and then we're going to walk through that chart together. So hold on. All right, let's get started. I'll share my screen, bring up the first contestant, the first viewer. And this will be for Melanie. And so let's see. This is Melanie's chart. I know I can't fit it all on one screen, but I'll be showing you. So I placed in the placements of where this is going to take place. So Melanie has Sagittarius. So you're all, when you pull up your charts, you're going to look and see where's Sagittarius, because that's where this new moon is. And it is in her 4th house, but a little bit of it is, so here's the line of Sagittarius, right here, right here. Some of it's in the 4th house, some of it is in the 5th house. This particular eclipse will be in your 5th house, and it's going to happen right on your lunar eclipse, your prenatal lunar eclipse, which is at 22 degrees. When I looked at your chart the other day, I didn't even notice this. It's also happening right at the galactic center of your own chart. So something huge is going to be happening in your 5th house. The 5th house is typically ruled by Leo. So this would be that childlike quality, the innocence, the playing, happiness and joy. This is also children related. This is also romantically related. So the lunar eclipse here for you, that's a blind spot. So the light is going to be shown on a blind spot in this area of your life. This will have huge effect, and it's going to be something that you will have to deal with and let go of. I talked about this, I believe, with you before, that there were a lot of changes occurring in this house with these transits. Hopefully you can see my mouse. And so for you, this is almost going to be like a rude awakening in a sense. And I don't want to get too deep into the astrology with all of the different aspects, but if I take a look at where your sun is, so it's semi-sextile to this, and it's in the 2nd house, the things that you value. So that is going to, there's going to be a change there, but there's a harmonious change. That's semi-sextile. And then if we look up here at where the North Node is, that's in your 10th house. And I feel like I've brought this up to you before about career, but it's also the way that you're seen or known as in the world. There's going to be a big change. This is where the full moon and lunar eclipse was 2 weeks ago, and your prenatal solar eclipse is right there, as is your North Node. I kind of have the same aspect in my chart, but I'm down here in the 12th. This is also the mother and the father energy in the 4th and 10th house. There's going to be a big change with mother-father energy. It could be your own mother-father, spouse's mother-father. It could be you as the mother and your spouse as the father. Big change there. Let's look. The planets of Saturn and Jupiter on the grand conjunction are moving into your 6th house. So there's going to be something huge surrounding your health. Your daily routines are changing. It's going to have to change. And it's kind of realizing your biggest fears with Black Moon Lilith being in this house. This could also be pet related. Let me see, where's Mercury? Mercury's here in your 1st house. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so that's in conjunct. There could be a loss of a pet, or the bringing in of a pet. So something is happening around that. And 2, 3, 4. We have a trine to your moon, so that's a beautiful aspect right there. I do like this. but it is bringing out emotions, and it's your 8th house. So something really big in your life is transforming. You have kind of like a yod, finger of God in a sense, pointing up to your moon. So this is also taxes, other people's money, big transformation. Something is ending and it will affect you emotionally. I will say that. The other area that is expanding, it's your midheaven, what you are known for in the world. So I know that I'm pretty sure that we talked about this before and you said no, but I wouldn't rule it out as like your whole world kind of being really changed, and changed for what you're known for. So this could also be this trine to your moon. This could be your passion coming out, with it being in Aries, you finally doing something that you have always wanted to do that maybe you put on the side burner for the sake of the family or everyone else. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in your chart for right now. If you have any questions, Melanie, please let me know. And then the next chart. All right, the next chart that I'll be reviewing is for Gonzalo. Let me bring up his chart. All right, so Gonzalo is a 20-degree Taurus, where this new moon and total solar eclipse is happening. It's Sagittarius once again, but this is in his 12th house. 12th house is typically ruled by Pisces, so this would be the arts, psychic abilities, institutions, sacrifice, spirituality, karma. And what's interesting, you have quite a large 12th house here. So it's split between Scorpio and Sagittarius. Here is actually, I'm going to have to come down here because here's the end of the Sagittarius line. So this new moon and total solar eclipse are actually occurring right below the horizon in your personal world of yourself. They're happening pretty much right on your Selena, which is the bright side of the moon, but it's Uranus. So big changes with yourself are going to be happening. Also, old habits that you're doing to yourself have got to go. So it's the way you're taking care of yourself. It's also the old ways that the way people are seeing you in the world, you have to transform that. That's got to go. Also, the way you believe in yourself, that has to change. If I come right across, this is where the North Node is. This is what you're pointing to. This is where the full moon was 2 weeks ago, and it's right on the horizon of your 7th house, your moon. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So your moon actually is being activated by this total solar eclipse. This would be the emotions that you have, the feelings you have towards relationships. So something huge is going to happen in that scenario. This is also the relationship to yourself, but also others. It's the relationship you have with everything in your life is being transformed at this time. You're going to be looking at it from a completely different lens. The grand conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter, they're going to be moving into your 3rd house. So this is about opening up to new communication, new ways of communication, new technology. This could also be you getting a new form or mode of transportation. This is also your siblings in the third house. You don't have any planets here, so there won't be a huge effect. However, we do have these aspects that we have to consider. When Jupiter and Saturn are in your third house, they'll be squaring your sun, your black Lilith, which is your fears, your Chiron, which are your wounds, and your Venus, the way you love, and Waldemath, your blind spots. So we have to look at that. That's what this grand conjunction is going to be doing for you. It's kind of really opening up your eyes, and it has to do with love and relationships and the relationship you have to yourself and these self-limiting beliefs and the wounds that you're carrying within yourself. Let's see. Whoops, I didn't want to. Try not to reveal full names and details of information. And I know this says the transits on the 13th, but I know where they are. Let's see. What else? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is in conjunct, but it's actually exact opposite. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Will be in conjunction to your own personal north node and your Mercury. Mercury is going to play a huge role in 2021. So the way that you're communicating, so see, it's making an opposition to Pluto. So things have to change. Things need to transform. I want to also point out, when I'm counting around the houses, each house is typically 30 degrees. And so when I'm looking at a square, squares are 90 degrees, or it's 3 sections away. So when I'm looking at the Aquarius mansion and how I knew that it was squaring your sun and your black moon Lilith, your Chiron, I'm counting 30, 60, 90. So I'm winding up right in this area. Trines, which are usually beneficial, benefic, they are 120 degrees. So this grand conjunction is actually going to be trining your moon. And so that should be making a beautiful harmony. And the moon is about our emotions. So there's going to be a lot of changes as far as that is concerned. Your ascendant, who you are, who you show the world, is at 20 degrees Sagittarius. And this new moon and total solar eclipse are at 23 degrees. So it's within a 3-degree orb. Some astrologers will go as high as 10 degrees in either direction. Some tighten it up. I like to keep it a little bit tighter, within, I don't know, anywhere from a 2 to 5 degree orb where I think there is significance. But on a total solar eclipse and new moon, we can go 10 degrees in either direction. So that would be all the way up through right here, up to the final degree of Sagittarius. And then we can take it all the way up to about right in here. So it could even be hitting your Saturn. I'm not getting into these asteroids that I have in your chart. I already have them preloaded as part of my program. I'm not talking about those today. I don't want to give too much information and confuse people. But the way that you've been restricting yourself and holding yourself back, secretly almost, as if you're going to have to be changing. You're going to have to unleash that. That's going to have to change. So Gonzalo, I hope that you liked that, and looking forward to your feedback on that and the big changes that are coming for you. So let me pull up the next chart. All right, the next chart that we'll be looking at is for Dawn, and she is a Gemini, so I would expect that there is a big effect there. Let me pull up her chart for you. All right. Okay, so we can see she's an 18-degree Gemini. That full moon 2 weeks ago was at 8 degrees. So it would be right in here, right on the midheaven. Big changes in the way you are going to be known for in the world. Interestingly enough, so I'm going to come down to Sagittarius. That is where this new moon and solar eclipse are taking place. Been talking for a long time. I did readings all day today. All right. So you don't have any planets here, but this is your fourth house. It's your home. It's your family. So that's where the changes are going to be made. It's going to be between work and family and the career and family. Excuse me. Sorry about that. And there's going to be a little bit of a shakeup. So you're letting go of a lot of beliefs about how the family structure needs to be or how the family needs to be. And your career is going to be taking on a much more important role in the future and going forward in your life. The grand conjunction, so let's find out where Aquarius is in your chart. So it's leaving this place of creativity. And I know Dawn is a creative artist. And that's what her business is. So that makes sense. The Capricorn is here in 5th. And, you know, a little bit of, I mean, your 5th house really expands into Aquarius, which is innovation. This is where your part of fortune is. So Saturn and Jupiter, they're right here on the cusp. It's your 5th house. So your creativity is changing in the coming year. Jupiter will be conjuncting your part of fortune. So this is going to come in 21 degrees. I'm going to say somewhere around October-ish of 2021, Jupiter's going to be expanding your part of fortune. So you're innovating some part of your business, 6th house, but I also want you to keep an eye on your health and make sure that you're doing for yourself, you know, getting enough rest, eating well, getting enough movement and exercise. You really have to take care of yourself. I know that you are extremely driven when it comes to your business, but you're going to have to put a little bit of more focus on yourself. The beliefs are changing around the home, but it's like also who is being nurtured. I really want you to start nurturing yourself more. Where's your Cancer? Up here. So this says to me, like, you are really great at nurturing your friends. Not so good maybe at yourself, and that has to change. What else? This is also where the next full moon will be. Mercury will be playing a big part. So communication is definitely going to be changing the way that you communicate out into the world and for what you're known for. Let's take a look at the 3rd house. So your moon is right here on your IC. So you keep a lot of things hidden about yourself, and you're not speaking up your voice. You're going to have to. You're really going to have to be putting yourself out there in the forefront. And I know you're not going to like that so much, but I think you're getting more comfortable with that and with those changes that are coming. The new moon and solar eclipse are 20 degrees from your moon. So there's not a huge effect there, but it does conjunct the full moon we had 2 weeks ago up in Gemini. So I know big changes are coming there, and definitely in your 6th house. So it's going to be 4th, 5th, 6th house that I'm going to say the biggest changes are, and your 10th and your 11th house. So you could be shuffling around who some of your friends are. Your social circles could be changing, and they could be expanding with the full moon. So that's what I'm seeing for you, Dawn. I hope you like that. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to message me. Our next victim is lovely Adrian, who is an Aquarian with a Sagittarius rising. So there's going to be a huge effect there. Let's take a look at her chart. All right. So here we have Adrian, who is a 16-degree Aquarian and a 17-degree Sagittarius rising, moon also in Aquarius. So let's see. Since yours is right on the ascendant and the descendant, this is first house and seventh house. So this is going to have an effect on who you are, the way you show yourself to the world. Big focus on you revamping yourself. I will say you've got Chiron right here at the anaretic degree of 29 degrees. This would tell me that there are past life wounds about yourself, putting yourself out there. And you're right on the galactic center, which is huge, absolutely huge. This is going to be an amazingly big transformative change in your year for yourself and your relationships. So you don't have anything right in that other than your blind spot, and it's aligning with your wounds. So you may not even be seeing these wounds or know what they are. I think with your shamanistic work, though, that you do, Adrian was my first shamama. I met her at an automatic writing class. That blows my mind that came up today about how I met you originally. And so you may not even see these wounds within yourself, but they're going to come out. I'll tell you that. You're going to feel them because all of your insecurities about yourself are going to rise to the surface the closer you get to this next relationship. The full moon that was 2 weeks ago, it was conjuncting your psyche, which is, you know, up here. But it was lying right in between your black moon Lilith, and this is past life fears. And it's right on the descendant of like the fears that you have about relationships. What you're letting go of are these old outworn beliefs of yourself and relationships and how they have to look and who they have to be, and holding vigil for relationships of the past. You can still honor people, but also honor yourself in allowing them to go so that you can move forward and grow as a human. The grand conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter, it is in your second house. You have quite a large second house. It's actually intercepted. So the things that you value, and death, endings, taxes, other people's money is greatly affected. That's a karmic story for you that you're moving through, and you're really taking a look at the way and what you value and where you're putting your values. Although I know you're such a great, grounded, esoteric human being, I can't see that you would still be having those issues. I think you've already cleared them, but who you are and your emotions and how they're tied to it are going to be greatly affected over the next coming years. And it's going to have a big effect on your legacy and what you have inherited as part of a past life legacy and what you will be leaving behind as well. Also too, so I said that I wasn't going to bring up asteroids, but I see Ceres right here is at 4 degrees Aquarius. Ceres talks about the harvest, having enough. So that could be triggered. You may have to tighten your belt a little bit. So there'll be like an expansion where you have benefics pouring in, but then there's going to be some restrictions. So you're going to be readjusting your needs and really paring down to what you truly value. Let me see if I've missed anything. 1, 2, 3. So this full moon that we had 2 weeks ago, it is changing the way that you're putting yourself out there, the illusions of how you can or have to put yourself out there. Also pointing to, it's challenging your North Node to really step into who you are, how you're communicating. You've got a voice and you need to get that out there. Follow your heart with this Venus. It's also pointing to your North Node. Your story is not over yet, and you still have more to communicate, more to share with the rest of the world. 2, 3. Yes, and this total eclipse and the sun is also activating that as well. Let me see where your Mercury is. Mercury. Okay, so Mercury is also in the second house. That's at 25 degrees, but that's Capricorn, not Aquarius. So you've probably gone through changes. Saturn is at 29 degrees right now. Jupiter, I believe, at 28 degrees. You can see how Saturn's just a little bit ahead. When you look up in the sky, it actually looks like Jupiter is ahead of Saturn. So this is a new way of communicating about the things that you value. So I really think you're going to be following your heart. And I think that you need to start teaching some classes. Third house, that's like elementary education, which, you know, if you're watching this, Adrian, you're going to laugh because Adrian used to be a teacher. But this is telling me that you're not finished. You're not finished that story. And the full moon in 2 weeks from now in Cancer, that's hitting you again up in your 7th house of relationships. Something's coming in, but you have to get rid of those old outworn beliefs of who you are and what relationships are and how they should be looking, what they need to be looking like. So I hope you like that aid. All right, let me pull up. I have 2 more charts left to do. I couldn't say no, you know, because it's me. So hold on. All right, our next victim is Sharon. And I was looking at her chart the other day. And I said, oh, you need to be a contestant on my chart analyzation. And I didn't really have any volunteers at that time. So I had already told her that I was going to look at her chart because, let me show you, this is what I found. And it's kind of the opposite of Adrian's chart. So that makes it even more interesting. So Sharon is a 27-degree Virgo. And let's see, she's a Gemini ascendant, so that's what sparked me. So remember Adrian, she was the Sagittarius ascendant over here, and her Gemini was here. Well, Sharon's got the opposite thing going on. So she has Gemini on her ascendant, Sagittarius on her descendant. What are the things Sagittarius is saying? What are the things you're letting go of? What are the beliefs you're letting go of? So 2 weeks ago, we had the full moon in Gemini at 8 degrees, and that was showing up right in her first house, right on her Aquarius, right on her Mars, big changes coming towards herself, also kind of putting the fire under her butt. Vesta is right here, so that's the hearth and home, goddess of the hearth and home. And also Sharon is a Gemini moon. Now, the Gemini full moon 2 weeks ago was at 8 degrees, so it's too far from her moon. So there's not a huge effect on the emotions, but the emotions are in play in a sense. And it's also her Saturn is here, her restrictor, the things that hold her back from being her true self. So I knew a couple weeks ago that big changes were coming to herself. Then it was when I'm looking at the new moon and total solar eclipse, I knew it was going to affect her relationships. And I hope she doesn't mind, but Sharon is purchasing a new house right after this new moon and total solar eclipse. That would be the fourth house. 1, 2, 3. There's a challenge there. So there's a big challenge. It's a little bit difficult, but it's going to be perfect. And she's got Chiron there. So she has wounds when it comes to the home and the family, but she has decided to become independent, first house, and change those relationships that she currently has. And in this case, it is the old outworn, family dynamic is going out the window. And that full moon is saying, focus on yourself. The full moon in Cancer that we have in a couple of weeks, that's in her second house. And that's the things that she values. Ceres, the goddess of grain and agriculture, having enough or not having enough, not having enough, that is going to be hit. So there could be some fears that come up around that, but also the way that you're thinking about what you need to have and what has value to you, that is going to change greatly. Yes, and so you can finally, with these changes, you can dream big and your communications will definitely start to improve with your relationships, which is what I think is really great, because it is challenging in a sense, but those challenges will change. Those dynamics will change. Now, where is the grand conjunction happening? It's happening up here in your midheaven. And I believe that we talked about this when I did your chart reading a month or so ago. But you've had changes. You've had losses. That's where these planets were moving through. And now you're going to be able to shine. You're expanding. So it's going to hit your 9th house first. Expansion, learning, new beliefs. And then it's going to change who you are known in the world as. Your career sector is going to change. As your knowledge expands, that will change. So I think that is fantastic, Sharon. And I hope that these chart readings, these chart examples are helping all of you learn how to find these places within your own chart and seeing that, how they can move around into the different houses and what the different houses mean. And, I've got tons of articles about all this. And as always, you can always ask me. I have one more chart left. I hope I didn't forget anybody, but I have one chart left for Megan, and I have to pull her chart up. Just one moment. All right, so now we're going to take a look at Megan's chart. And I liked this chart because she's coming up on her solar return right after this grand conjunction. So I knew it would have a big effect. Let's take a look. Okay, so Megan is a 3-degree Capricorn. So she's gone through quite a bit over the last couple of years. And those planets are finally leaving her sun. And they're moving still in the 5th house. So there's going to be a breath of fresh air. This is the grand conjunction. And of course, the dogs have to start barking at this point because it wouldn't be one of my videos without the dogs barking, correct? So I'll come back to this in a moment. Let's take a look and see, what are you leaving behind? So this new moon and solar eclipse. So the moon has to move. It's still in transit. It has to catch up to the sun. but it's basically right on your IC. The things that are hidden below the horizon, it's definitely steeped deeply in the family. We have the communication element. Mercury is going to play a huge part of 2021. You have to let go of the beliefs that you have around the way you communicate, especially within the family, changing that family dynamic. It is within orb of your sun, even though your sun is in Capricorn. So we're at 23 degrees for this new moon and solar eclipse. So it's 9 degrees of orb, almost 10 degrees, but I still think it's going to have a huge effect. Your part of fortune is here also as well. So there's going to be some big changes surrounding that. But these are the things that you're letting go of. Now this could be this. Now remember, 4th house, it's mother or father, as is the 10th house. You know, to me, they're interchangeable because the family dynamics, like typically back in the day, 10th house was the mother, 4th house was the father. But I think because the roles are so fluid nowadays, I feel as though 10th and 4th are kind of interchangeable when it comes to parental, because sometimes the mother is working outside, and that would be this. Usually the mother was in the house and not seen. The father was the one who was out in the world. Interesting that, why do I see so many people with Saturn on their midheaven? I have that myself. So I would think that there were a lot of restrictions within the family, and that's going to be changing. The full moon that occurred 2 weeks ago at 8 degrees Gemini, right on your midheaven. So there's going to be big changes as far as who you're known for in the world, what you're known for. There could be career changes, especially with, you know, your sun down here in Capricorn, and how it would affect the family. Trying to think. The dog is distracting me. Your North Node has been activated recently, North Node in Capricorn. So that's interesting. You're really coming into like who you're going to be. Now there is a blind spot right here with your prenatal solar eclipse that's going to be activated by this grand conjunction. Aquarius does occupy your 5th and 6th house. It'll start off in the romance, creativity, children, you know, playing, loving life. It's going to be a breath of fresh air, almost like a weight is going to be lifted off of your shoulder. Really letting go of the weight of old family beliefs, old family stories down in here. And then it's going to move into your 6th house work sector, but not until, oh gosh, probably not till 2022. We're not going to see that. End of 2021, beginning of 2022. So your ascendant is Virgo, 3, 4. It's going to be trining this aspect, this total solar eclipse and new moon. So the way you're going to be challenged to revamp, reinvent yourself, and the way that you're presenting yourself to the world, how people are seeing you, that has to change. 1, 2, 3, which would also then in turn square your 7th house and the way that you're seeing yourself and like through your relationships. The full moon in Cancer on New Year's Eve is, I don't know what degree it is because I haven't done the research for that yet. but it's also 10th, 11th house. So bringing in new friends, your solar eclipse is there. And I think I've said this to you before, that like your social circles, your friends are going to be your biggest allies, and that's going to get activated at the end of the month. So Megan is a Christmas Eve baby. That's what 3 degrees of Capricorn is. So the solstice only occurs a couple days before. This is really going to be a huge solar return year for you. Big changes. I would expect that there could be a loss within the family with this, because things are moving out. But I think that you kind of knew that. And so that's your little mini readings, the little chart analyzation for all of you. I hope that it gave you all a better understanding of astrology and where to find these aspects within your own charts. So if you like this video, please share it with your friends. Comment me, give me some thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. Check me out at expressionsoftheuniverse.com. I can also be found on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Pinterest, and in Newtown, Pennsylvania, twice a month at Solutions for Daily Living, doing face-to-face live readings. So thank you all. New moon blessings, grand conjunction, solstice blessings, and I will be back. Maybe I'll do a little bit next week. I didn't pull cards for the week. I'm going to surprise you with all of that. It was just too much. This is a really long video. Hopefully I can figure out how to timestamp it, or at least write down in the comments like where you can fast forward to this information. I know this is a really long video, and I appreciate if you watched all the way through, or even in segments, and you learned a little bit from this. Comment me, let me know what you thought, and if you would like me to do more chart analyzations for upcoming transits, because I thought that that was kind of fun. But I'll pare it down. Like, this is a huge, huge historical event time. It warranted such a long video. I really want to blog about this as well. But these transits are going to be carrying for the next 200 years, so I don't have to rush. I can go take a nap in the meantime. If you get to see this video early, the Geminid meteor showers are peaking, 150 meteors per hour, and the skies have cleared up. They were cloudy here all day, so I'm getting ready while this is processing. I'm going to get ready and go outside and see some shooting stars. So happy new moon blessings, and have a beautiful solstice. Until later.